and the topic is ensuring gender equity through education. But since we are talking of artificial intelligence, we should probably focus basically on the use of internet and digital technologies in education. Obviously, that is going to be the way forward, whether we like it or we don't like it. And all technologies, when they come, they are disruptive. As I was chatting with someone yesterday, when the printing press came, there was such a hue and cry in the world that what a retrograde step, and now everybody's memories are going to fail. So these things always happen, and progressively, whenever a new technology comes, there is resistance because it takes us out of our comfort zone. Now, as far as gender issues and technology are concerned, as I was saying to Mr. Moses when he was talking to me over the phone to invite me, oh, let's not put women back several centuries or years or whatever you want to call it by saying, oh, they are not technology literate enough. This has been going on at least since I remember in Beijing Conference of Women and every time the women don't know that technology, so there is going to be a huge gender divide. Yes, there is, but then they can't be deprived of it either. And so we have to find ways of tackling this issue. Now, the Sustainable Development Goals, Goal 4, devoted to education, and I'm glad this time they've not just said education, quality education. Because without quality education, there is no education. And you have a separate goal, Goal 5, which is on gender parity. So it is recognized that women are very, very important contributors to the progress of the world. You cannot keep half or more of it deprived and expect to progress. Now, last 2 years of pandemic have catapulted us into a technological world, which would have come, but would have come in a little while. So it wouldn't have come immediately. But now we've had willy-nilly to cope with it, and kicking and screaming, we are into it. But we've been faced with this paradox that there is no way out except online. But we've also figured out that online education may not be as effective as face-to-face education, but things are not going to change. This is here to stay, so probably a hybrid mode of education, which also requires teachers to be trained on how to use the digital technologies. It cannot be chalk and talk anymore, because then it's very boring, and I have heard so many teachers say, oh, they don't listen. Well, yes, you have to use a different pedagogy for it. Now, women have a very unequal access to technology. Having been part of the South Asian University, I was looking through, well, what is the state in other countries? I was quite surprised that it's not as if only India is bad or India is better than the others. By and large, the situation is the same. And between 36 to 40% gender, the gap is there because of gender. Now, add to it rural and urban divide, because in rural parts of the country, and I'm sure this is true of every other place, the penetration of internet is not that great. Then the caste issues. Again, I won't bore you with figures, but the lowest is access is of scheduled tribes and of the Muslims. Then come the scheduled castes, and then the others. And this divide is greater in urban India than in this divide is greater in rural India than in urban India, where in any case the resources are much less. Then we have a regional imbalance, because some states in India the gender divide is very little, for example in Kerala, and in some states it's very high, and I was surprised to find that even in Andhra Pradesh this is very high. Then you have intra-household discrimination. That is strictly a mindset thing. It is based on giving priority to the traditional functions of women. And I was very surprised to read somewhere. It's very strange. What is the criterion? Oh, before marriage, it will lead to loose moral character because now she will be able to access whoever. And post-marriage, it will take away from her household duties and childcare. Now, in phones, in places where you have only one smartphone in the family, the hierarchy is the father first, and even though he may not know how to use it. Number two is the son. The daughter, if she is studying somewhere, then she has to attend classes. And if she can't, she can't. It's as simple as all that. And mother maybe. So many places the connectivity is so poor. You can't do it. I used to be the chair of the Himjyoti Vocational Institute, which is for underprivileged girls below poverty line from remote areas of Uttarakhand. And when we sent them home, we didn't know how to teach them. It finally ended up sending WhatsApp messages. Now, that's hardly any way to learn. But then preference is always given to the male members of the family and according to hierarchy. Now, the other to me, a very important question as an educator is, okay, you will provide all this internet. What about quality of education? Now, what should come first? Because if you are not providing quality education, you may provide as much internet as possible, they're not going to use it. So what has to come first? Quality education or internet access? Well, ideally we should be able to do it simultaneously, but after 75 years, still the quality of education is a big question mark. Now, in rural India, I found only 14% of people actually use the internet even when available, as compared to 40% in urban areas. And therefore, what I have really figured out, even hands-on because of this vocational institute, is that you have all the socio-economic divides and discriminations replicated when you use the digital technology, if not exacerbated. Even that can happen. But I was pleasantly surprised because I also work with SEVA, the Self-Employed Women's Association. And those women, they may be not very literate, but who have been introduced to how to use it. And it's not just sending WhatsApp messages. How to actually use it and get your information and use the YouTube. Many of them were very enterprising. I met this woman, I stopped my workshop and I said, no, you are the one who should be doing it. She was trying to learn English because she'd found an app from Gujarati to English and she was teaching herself English through that. And her mother-in-law wouldn't let her go out, but then she had set up tailoring in her house and she was doing lehengas. And I said, my goodness me, choli and lehenga, how did you learn to make it? She said, through the YouTube. So, these things can also be path-breaking, provided you teach people the proper use of digital technology. Before I hand over everything, I want to end by saying that there are larger ramifications which will happen because of the gender divide. They will spill out into the societal divides even further and create greater inequality, and the growth of the economy will be hampered if we do not teach people the proper use of technology. Now you may say, I've seen all these schemes that have come up, Pradhan Mantri Gramin Yojana, e-Pathshala, educational, the Bharat Net Educational Project and so on and so forth. You can go on naming them. Yes, but where I have found, as I said, I've worked 48 years in this profession. We have the best schemes, best reports possible. What about the implementation? Where we lag behind is implementation, for which we need to get over our own biases, whatever be those biases, I don't want to go into that. We have to get over our own biases and concentrate on how to get the outcome. And with these some words, may I request now Ms. Charu Modi and she's working in Chhattisgarh, so I was very impressed, which is a beautiful, beautiful place and so culturally rich. Over to you.